Hello, my name is Anjani, and today I'm reading the full moon astrology report for November 3rd, 2017. The exact time of the full moon is 10:22 p.m. So if you're going to be doing any ceremonies or rituals, doing it somewhere around that time sort of makes it extra potent because we have all that energy surging through. Of course, there's a 3-day window that we can work with this energy, but tonight is the most potent time to do whatever kind of things you're going to do. I want to talk about this particular energy of this full moon, and then I'm going to spend more time talking about some of these aspects that have to do with the shadow and energy that Scorpio is actually illuminating. And Jupiter being in Scorpio is extra illuminating this certain energy. So the moon is over here in Taurus at 11 degrees, and the sun is over here in Scorpio at 11 degrees. So they're in opposition to each other. And then we have Jupiter right next to the sun. Jupiter is just making it bigger. Jupiter is going to be in Scorpio for a little over a year. And so illuminating all of the energy that Scorpio is the keeper of, the mysteries that Scorpio is the keeper of. So right now, today, working with the full moon in this particular axis has to do with intimacy, intensity, and life force energy. So lots of things in that axis that have to do with pleasure and pain, embodiment, disembodiment, life and death. This is that polarity that has to do with full comfort and pleasure and relaxation in the body, and full, like having your finger in a electric socket and just being fully energized. So it's like that polarity between, and when you put your finger in a light socket, I don't know, I've never done it, but you could die. It's like so much energy that this is where it's like the pole between life and death. So we have that going on. I want to just show a couple of charts because if you have anything in that axis of Taurus and Scorpio, anything within that 11 degree axis, well, this is my chart. I really just have Chiron there, rising sign in Taurus. So that would be something to think about. Okay, so how is this full moon touching the alchemist, the part of me that is the alchemist, the merge master who's able to work with energy? And I worked all day from 9 a.m. until just now. I just finished, and I didn't have breaks, and it was like all day. And I was working with people really deeply on their sacred wounding and things that hurt. And so I could say, I do that most days of my life, but Chiron being there in the midst of that full moon, there's extra information there. So here's another chart with over here his north node and Jupiter. He's got a lot of stuff over here in Scorpio. Who is this? Oh, yeah, I haven't read this chart yet. This is a new person who ordered a reading just today. So he would be looking at his, where he's going, what's his life purpose and destiny, and also the way, his expansion, his illumination. So this full moon would be touching those things for him. I had another person who I worked with today who has a lot of things in Scorpio, and really intense things happening. So just, looking at your own chart, you can highlight, here's my best friend, you can highlight the area of 11 degrees of the moon and 11 degrees of the sun, what we're working with right now, and just see what's in there for you. So for him, he has his moon and his rising sign being affected by this full moon, which would say that he has Taurus rising also, where his energy of what's emerging, what he's learning about right now in this lifetime, that this full moon would be activating that and intensifying that. So if you know what you have on your chart, if you have anything within that axis, you can directly focus on those parts of your life and sort of communicate with yourself really specifically. And if you don't have anything in there, there's a lot of ways that you might have something in that area and just don't know about it. Because if you have, what I was showing in another video was splitting this 4 ways so that you could see what you had at square angles, because square angles are equally important. So if you have anything in Aquarius or in Leo at 11 degrees, that's also going to be affected for you on this full moon. So I noticed that on the Scorpio rising video, there was tons of people who were really interested. So I feel like the energy of Scorpio rising is something that is on the rise, because we are learning to work with this intense energy. And if you have Scorpio rising or Taurus rising, you probably also have some connection to Aquarius and Leo in some sort of a way, because that's at a square angle to Scorpio and Taurus. So just see what you have there in Aquarius and what you also have in Leo, because this full moon is also going to activate that. So this guy has Mars square to the full moon right now. So I'm just showing that because there's many ways that you can work with your chart on the timings of the new moon and full moon, and really any time, just seeing where the planets are and how they're activating different angles of your chart. So let me go back to this. A couple of other things I wanted to mention is that we have Uranus at an opposition to Jupiter right now. And because Jupiter is here in Scorpio, highlighting and illuminating the mysteries and the secrets of the shadow, Uranus being in opposition to that gives us this unpredictable, unexpected events, things that will change our perspective. They're meant to shift the assemblage point, specifically involving our shadow material. So just this week, what I have noticed in working with people in body work, it's been very unreal almost, because primarily in body work, people were coming to me for very specific, I have a very intellectual mind, and I'm doing very specific work on muscles and muscle tissue and the way this connects to that, and it's very thought out. And in the last maybe month or so, I haven't been doing much work like that, and it's because people are booking Reiki, they're booking my intuitive body work that I do, which is, no thinking allowed, and just moving and talking with the body in very unusual ways. And people have been booking that like crazy. And what's been coming up a lot is someone comes in and they feel like they have an entity or some dark force that's working on them, but it's outside of them. And, people have even said this month, I have this, and this going on, and basically they want me to make it leave. They want to get the dark energy out of their body and make it leave. And the thing is that, number one, it takes light and dark. And we all know that when it's in general nature in life, we all accept that too, because we like living in places where there's sun and there's nighttime, and this balance is non-negotiable. But when it's in our body and we feel strong emotional outburstings and inner turmoil, we just want somebody to go take it out, or we want to be able to take it out ourselves and just get rid of it. But the thing is that within that heavy feeling or the darkness or that force that you feel, a lot of times there is energy that's untapped, something in you that wants to be talked to, wants to be acknowledged. And if anybody is telling you they're just going to remove your darkness and blast you with the violet flame and just get rid of all your negativity and make you, I would be very cautious about that and just look into it more, because and ask yourself, do you really believe that, number one, that there's something in you that's bad, that you need to get it out? And number two, play with the idea that perhaps that thing that you're feeling is a benevolent thing within your body that has a gift for you, has a message for you, has something that you could digest and use it for energy that you're not using, instead of just fighting it and resisting it and calling it bad, calling it a blockage and wanting somebody to remove it. You could just close your eyes, breathe into your body, call all your energy back into yourself, and just notice the way that feels within you. Notice the way energy moves when you just bring all your awareness inside of your body. And instead of trying to kick it out, just be with it. The way you would if it were a small child who was scared or hurt or didn't feel amazing. We never want to kick a kid or throw it out, or, oh, this kid is sad or feels bad about themselves, let's just make it leave. That's not what you would do with a small child. So why do we try to do that with our emotions that aren't beautiful and look like a certain way that we would consider to be beautiful? So when you're able to, so what happens anyway, when people come in and I'm with them, holding their body in certain ways and listening to them and listening to their body, I'm not saying, oh, this is horrible, let's send violet rays of light to just break it up and make it move away. We sit with it. We hold the space. We hold, like literally holding that space and just breathing. And, I might ask some questions or, have the person breathe to that area. So many different things happen and come out of my mouth when we're in that space. But usually the end is either, number one, it's like 5% of people just can't go there. They just can't. At that moment, it's just not something that's going to happen. But the 95% of people, they're able to go there. Sometimes they cry. Sometimes, a bunch of things can happen. Anything can happen. And they're able to contact that piece of them. And then they would never call that bad. They would never say like, oh gosh, that was horrible. It's like, wow, I never would have even thought to look. I would have never thought that I could do that. And you can. All it is basically, if you have taken any yoga classes, any type of yoga class, usually at the end there'll be a shavasana or a resting posture. If you're not into that, you can just lay in your bed and practice some body awareness. I do this movement because the main thing for me is calling all of my energy back into my spine. And on my big inhales, bringing everything into my spine, and then just noticing where my energy is, how it moves. And really, if there's something in the moment that I don't like, there's really nothing to do with it, So anyway, let me get off of that topic. That's more of body work. And the main thing is that if you feel that there's something that you want to get rid of it, eradicate it from your life, from your body, first know what it is. Trace it to its root. Ask questions. Don't just assume that because something doesn't feel good that it's not right and that there's something wrong with it. And the other thing is that light folded up on top of itself, in the way I've seen this in meditation is like folding up into a condensed, contracted place. That's what a shadow is, or what darkness is. Or it could be just, the way something obstructs light, that it's a temporary obstruction. But the light is always there. And when you can see that, you know, that the light folding in on top of itself, that space can easily be, it's not bad. It's still light. It's not the darkness that people talk about like some evil thing that, you know, that evil thing, it really is just a part of yourself that isn't bad. And I don't really know what else to say about that. Have good dreams, you know, work with this full moon energy, go to sleep and just allow it. You know, if you just say that to yourself before bed tonight, specifically, because this is the full moon we're working with, that whatever is in me, that I accept it and I love it and I'm ready to work with it. You might not love it in this moment, but I'm ready to see it. I'm ready to work with it. And stop pushing it away, because the more that it's inside you, you know, it's like the blood running through your veins. If you can't accept that blood, or you can't accept, it turns into diseases. It turns into cancer and autoimmune diseases and all these kind of things. So let's love our body. Taurus, the moon is in Taurus, so this, this is a time to get a massage, to do some serious self-love, bringing pleasure to your physical body. So many more things I could talk about, but I feel like if you have questions, you can ask them and I will answer. And thank you so much for watching the video. I look forward to connecting with you soon.